The grand plan of Emperor Palpatine was executed with perfect timing, with him turning Anakin Skywalker to the dark side. But what if the Jedi were able to figure out who he was? Or at least figure out that he was playing both sides of the war, truly figure out that he was evil, from a certain point of view. We know that ultimately Mace and Yoda decided to arrest him, but Obi-Wan was actually the one to warn Anakin that he may not actually be his friend, and more than we got in the movie. First of all, remember that scene in Revenge of the Sith, where Anakin goes to find Obi-Wan and then Anakin is informed that the Chancellor wants to see him in order to make Anakin his personal representative of the Jedi Council. Well, there was more to that scene than you actually know, and in the Revenge of the Sith novel, Obi-Wan gives Anakin a warning about Palpatine, and it's about as close as we ever get to see Anakin and Obi-Wan realizing the truth. Let's quickly read the excerpt from the novel, and then we'll discuss more after it, so getting right into it from the Revenge of the Sith novel. Obi-Wan reached Anakin. "You missed the report on the Outer Rim sieges." "I was held up," Anakin said. "I have no excuse." That, at least, was true. "Is Palpatine here?" Anakin asked. It was a convenient enough way to change the subject. "Has something happened?" "Quite the opposite," Obi-Wan said. "That shuttle did not bring the Chancellor. It is waiting to bring you to him." "Waiting? For me?" Anakin frowned. Worries and lack of sleep had his head full of fog. He couldn't make this make sense. He patted his robes vacantly. "But my beacon hasn't gone off. If the Council wanted me, why didn't they—" "The Council," Obi-Wan said, "has not been consulted." "I don't understand," Anakin said. "Nor do I." Obi-Wan stepped close, nodding minutely back to the shuttle. "They simply arrived some time ago. When the deck duty Padawans questioned them, they said the Chancellor has requested your presence." "Why wouldn't he go through the Council?" Anakin asked. "Perhaps he has some reason to believe," Obi-Wan said carefully, "that the Council might have resisted sending you. Perhaps he did not wish to reveal his reason for this summon. Relations between the Council and the Chancellor, they are stressed." A queasy knot began to tie itself behind Anakin's ribs. "Obi-Wan, what's going on? Something's wrong, isn't it? You know something, I can tell." "No? No, I do not. Only suspect, which is not at all the same thing." Anakin remembered what he'd said to Padme about exactly that last night. The queasy knot tightened. "And?" he asked. "And that's why I am out here, Anakin. So I can talk to you. Privately. Not as a member of the Jedi Council. In fact, if the Council were to find out about this conversation, well, let's say I'd rather they didn't." "What conversation?" Anakin asked. "I still don't know what's going on." "None of us do. Not really." Obi-Wan put a hand on Anakin's shoulder, and he frowned deeply into his eyes. "Anakin, you know I am your friend." "Of course you are," Anakin replied. No of courses, Anakin. Nothing is of course anymore. I am your friend, and as your friend, I am asking you, be wary of Palpatine." "What do you mean?" Anakin asked. "I know you are his friend. I am concerned that he may not be yours. Be careful of him, Anakin, and be careful of your own feelings." "Careful? Don't you mean mindful?" Anakin asked, and Obi-Wan's frown deepened. "No, I don't. The Force grows ever darker around us, and we are all affected by it, even as we affect it. This is a dangerous time to be a Jedi. Please, Anakin, please be careful." Anakin tried for his old rakish smile. "You worry too much," he said. "I have to." "Because I don't worry at all, right?" Anakin finished for him. Obi-Wan's frown softened toward a smile. "How did you know I was going to say that?" "You're wrong, you know." Anakin stared off through the morning haze toward the shuttle, past the shuttle, toward the building, toward Padme's apartment, and he said, "I worry plenty." The ride to Palpatine's office was quietly tense. Anakin had tried making conversation with the two tall, helmet-masked figures in the red robes, but they weren't exactly chatty. Anakin's discomfort only increased when he arrived at Palpatine's office. He had been here so often that he didn't even really see it. Most times, the deep red rug that matched the softly curved walls, the long, comfortable couches, the huge arc of windows behind Palpatine's desk, these were all so familiar that they were usually almost invisible. But today, with Obi-Wan's voice whispering, "Be wary of Palpatine," in the back of his head, everything looked different, new, and not in a good way. So that's where we're gonna stop today. And they were so close. They were so close to uncovering it. If Obi-Wan maybe would have just pushed a bit more. I think Obi-Wan was extremely conflicted, which makes Anakin's turn and Obi-Wan's failure even more that sad. He could tell something was wrong, Obi-Wan could, and he went to Anakin, and as he said, he did what the council would disapprove of. He truly talked to Anakin because they'd formed an attachment to each other. Obi-Wan, as much as he, may not want to admit it, did not do the Jedi thing. He formed a true attachment to his Padawan, to his friend, to his brother. He tried so hard to keep Anakin on the light side. I think he really knew that Anakin was deeply troubled, but he didn't know what to do. He wasn't trained for this. He was a Jedi Master on the Jedi Council. He had to balance that with being a friend to Anakin. He was trained to be a Jedi Master. He wasn't exactly trained to be a father, to be a brother. He didn't know how to help, but he tried. And it makes you wonder, what if Obi-Wan was just a little bit more lenient with the Jedi Code? What if he embraced his love for his brother Anakin? Would things have been different? What if he pushed a little bit harder here? What if he really investigated Palpatine? What if him and Anakin really tried to figure out what was going on? It's tough because we know how it ends, but these details make it so much more sad how close they truly were. It's unfortunate, but let me know what you think. Did you enjoy this video? I hope so. And tomorrow or the next day, a new fan fiction, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.